Have you ever wondered why a professional gambler from a smoky Vegas basement might be better at managing a $1 billion hedge fund than a straight-A student from an Ivy League business school? It sounds crazy, right? We're taught that to succeed in the financial markets, you need to be a math genius or have a fancy degree. But what if I told you that the secret to becoming a top 1% trader has nothing to do with textbooks and everything to do with what happens at a poker table at 3 a.m.? The truth is, the biggest trading firms in the world aren't looking for the best accountants anymore. They are looking for the best card players. They're scouting poker tournaments to find their next superstar traders. Why? Because while the rest of the world is busy looking at charts and following magic indicators, these players have mastered the one thing the market actually cares about: survival in the face of uncertainty. Think about the way most people approach trading. They see a pattern, they buy, and then they hold their breath. If the trade wins, they feel like a genius. They tell their friends, they check their balance every 5 minutes, and they feel on top of the world. But if the trade loses, they feel like they've been punched in the gut. They get angry. They blame the market. They think the system is rigged. This is what we call binary thinking. It's the idea that there is a right and a wrong, a win and a loss. And if you think this way, I'm going to be honest with you, the market will eventually take everything you have. Now, look at a professional poker player. They don't think in wins and losses. They think in expected value. Imagine a player holds 2 aces, the best hand you can start with. They know they have an 80% chance to win. They put all their money in the middle. But then the unthinkable happens. The other person gets a lucky card at the very last second and wins. Does the poker player cry? Does he throw his chair? Does he decide that aces are a bad hand and never play them again? No. He shrugs his shoulders and moves on to the next hand. He knows he did the right thing. He knows the math was on his side. He understands that in any single hand, anything can happen. But over 1,000 hands, he will be the one walking away with the money. This is the first and most important lesson the poker table teaches. The process is more important than the result. In the world of trading, we're obsessed with the result. We want to know, did I make money today? But a poker player asks, did I make the right decision regardless of the money? If you take a high-risk, stupid trade and you happen to make $1,000, most traders would celebrate. A poker player would be terrified. Why? Because they know that a bad win is the most dangerous thing in the world. It teaches your brain that you can break the rules and get rewarded. Eventually, that habit will lead to a catastrophic loss that you can't recover from. When you start to view the market as a game of probabilities rather than a game of being right, your whole world changes. You stop taking every loss personally. You realize that a losing trade isn't a mistake. It's just the cost of doing business. It's like a shop owner paying rent. You don't get mad at your landlord for charging you rent, right? It's just what you pay to keep the doors open. In trading, your losses are your rent. But it's not just about the math. It's about the soul-crushing pressure. Imagine you're sitting at a table. You've been there for 10 hours. You're tired. Your eyes are heavy, and you're down half your money. Suddenly, someone pushes a mountain of chips into the middle. They're daring you to call. Your heart starts racing. You can feel the blood thumping in your ears. Your survival instinct is screaming at you to run away, to fold, to save what little you have left. A professional doesn't listen to that scream. They've trained their nervous system to stay calm when the world is on fire. They sit there, they breathe, and they run the numbers. They aren't thinking about the money. They are thinking about the logic. Most traders fail because they can't handle the itch. You know the feeling. You see the price moving up fast and you feel like you're missing out. You jump in without a plan. Or you see the price crashing and you freeze like a deer in headlights, watching your account bleed out because you're too scared to click the sell button. Poker players have already gone through this emotional baptism. They've lost big pots on lucky draws. They've been bluffed out of huge sums of money. They've felt the embarrassment of making a bad call in front of a crowd. By the time they start trading, they're emotionally calloused. They've built up a thick skin. When a trade goes against them, they don't feel the need to get even with the market. They don't revenge trade. They just follow the plan. Let's talk about that plan for a second. In the trading world, they call it risk management. In the poker world, they call it bankroll management. A lot of traders think risk management is just putting a stop loss on a chart. But for a poker player, it's a religion. Imagine a guy who's the best player in the world. He has $10,000 to his name. Does he go sit at a table where the minimum buy-in is $10,000? Never. Even though he's the best, he knows that variance, or what we call bad luck, can wipe him out in a single hand. He sits at a $200 table. He knows that he needs a cushion to survive the times when the cards just don't go his way. Traders often do the opposite. They have a $5,000 account and they risk $1,000 on one trade because they feel good about it. They are trying to get rich by Friday. A poker player is trying to be wealthy in 10 years. They risk 1% or 2% because they know that as long as they have chips in their bag, they are still in the game. The moment you run out of chips, your career is over. Talent doesn't matter if you're broke. Intelligence doesn't matter if you can't place the next bet. The market is also a giant game of reading the room. Most people look at a chart and see lines and candles. A poker player looks at a chart and sees people. They see the fear of the guy who bought at the top and is now praying for the price to come back. They see the greed of the big banks trying to trick small traders into selling so they can buy it all up at a discount. In poker, you don't play your cards, you play the person across from you. If you know that the guy across from you only bets when he has a monster hand, you fold the moment he touches his chips. If you know he's a maniac who bluffs every time he gets bored, you call him with a weak hand and take his money. The market works the same way. It's a collection of human emotions. When the news is terrifying and everyone is screaming that the world is ending, the poker player trader sees a table full of scared people. And what do you do when the table is scared? You get aggressive. When everyone is bragging about how much money they're making and buying luxury cars with their crypto profits, the poker player sees a table full of drunk players who are overconfident. That's when you get cautious and walk away. One of the hardest things to do in trading is nothing. Have you ever sat in front of your computer, staring at the screen, and felt like you had to make a trade? You've been waiting for 2 hours, you're bored, and you just want some action. So you take a maybe trade. It's not a great setup, but it's good enough. A pro poker player is the king of boredom. They will sit at a table for 6 hours and fold 80% of their hands. They will toss away card after card, waiting for that one moment where the odds are shifted heavily in their favor. They don't care about activity, they care about productivity. They know that every bad hand they fold is money they've effectively earned by not losing it. In trading, folding means staying in cash. It means watching the market move and saying, I don't have an edge here, so I'm not playing. Most traders think that if they're not in a position, they're not making money. But a poker player knows that protecting your capital is the most profitable thing you can do during a bad market. And then there's the tilt. In poker, tilt is when you let your emotions take the driver's seat. Maybe you lost a big hand you should have won, and now you're angry. You start playing too many hands. You start betting too big. You're trying to force the money to come back to you. We've all been there in trading. You lose $500 and you immediately double your position size on the next trade because you want that $500 now. This is how accounts die. Poker players are taught from day one to recognize the signs of tilt. They know when their heart starts beating too fast. They know when they start feeling that heat in their chest. And when they feel it, they have a rule. They stand up and walk away. They leave the casino. They go for a walk. They realize that their brain is no longer capable of making logical decisions. Do you have a circuit breaker for your trading? Do you have a rule that says, if I lose 2 trades in a row, I'm turning off my computer for the day? If you don't, you're just one bad day away from losing everything you've worked for. The difference between a lucky trader and a professional trader is time. A lucky trader can make 1,000% in a month. We see them on Twitter and YouTube all the time. They post their big gains and they look like gods. But check back with them in 6 months. Usually they've disappeared. Why? Because they were playing a high-variance game without a safety net. They were all in on every hand. A professional trader, the poker player type, might only make 5% or 10% a month. It's not viral content. It's not exciting. It's actually kind of boring. But they do it every month, every year, for decades. They're not looking for a home run. They're looking for base hits. They know that if they just stay in the game and keep their edge, the compounding will eventually make them richer than they ever imagined. If you want to move to the next level in your trading journey, you have to stop acting like a customer of the market and start acting like the house.
Think about a casino. Does a casino worry when someone hits a jackpot on a slot machine? Does the owner of the casino run down to the floor and cry because they lost $10,000? No. They smile, they give the winner a free drink, and they wish him luck. Why? Because the casino knows the math. They know that even if that person won $10,000 today, the edge of the machine means that over the next million spins, the casino will win it all back and more. When you trade, you need to be the casino. Your trading strategy is your house edge. Your bankroll is your risk management. And the individual trades? They're just the spins of the wheel. Some will be red, some will be black. It doesn't matter. As long as you keep spinning the wheel and sticking to your edge, the outcome is guaranteed by the laws of mathematics. The market isn't a place where you go to prove how smart you are. It's not a place to seek excitement or to find a quick fix for your financial problems. It is a cold, calculated game of managing uncertainty. The people who win are the ones who can look at a screen full of red numbers and stay calm. They're the ones who can admit they were wrong the second the logic changes. They're the ones who realize that the biggest enemy they will ever face isn't the market makers or the whales, it's the person staring back at them in the mirror. So, here is my challenge to you. For the next 30 days, stop looking for new strategies. Stop looking for the perfect indicator. Instead, start focusing on your poker skills. Start tracking your decisions, not just your dollars. Ask yourself, did I follow my rules today? If you followed your rules and lost money, give yourself a pat on the back. That's a good loss. If you broke your rules and made money, be honest with yourself and admit that was a bad win that could have ended in disaster. Learn to love the fold. Practice the art of doing nothing when the market is messy. Stop trying to win every trade and start trying to play every trade perfectly. The market is the greatest teacher in the world, but its lessons are expensive. You can either pay the tuition by losing your money over and over again to emotional mistakes, or you can learn from the players who have already mastered the game of chance. The best traders in the world don't have crystal balls. They don't know what the market will do tomorrow. No one does. But they do know exactly what they will do no matter what the market throws at them. They have a plan for the win, a plan for the loss, and a plan for the boredom. In the end, trading is just a high-stakes game of poker played on a global scale. The cards are different. They're called stocks, forex, or crypto, but the players are the same. You have the gamblers, the dreamers, and the professionals. The gamblers want the thrill. The dreamers want the escape. But the professionals, they just want the edge. Which one are you going to be? Because the table is open, the blinds are being posted, and the market is dealing the next hand right now. You can't control the cards you're dealt, but you have 100% control over how you play them. Stop guessing, stop hoping,
and stop praying for a miracle card on the river. Master the math, control your ego, and protect your chips. If you can do that, you won't just survive in this game, you'll dominate it. You'll find that the secret everyone is looking for isn't hidden in some complex formula. It's been sitting right there in the simple discipline of a card player who knows that if they just keep making the right moves, the money will eventually find its way into their pockets. The world of finance might look complicated with its flashing lights and confusing jargon, but at its heart, it is beautifully simple. It's about risk, it's about reward, and most importantly, it's about having the courage to trust the numbers when your heart is telling you to run. Becoming a great trader isn't about changing the market. It's about becoming the kind of person who can handle the truth that we are all just playing a game of probabilities. Once you accept that, the fear disappears, the stress vanishes, and for the first time, you can actually start to enjoy the game. So, take a deep breath, look at your hand, and make the best decision you can. The long game is the only game that matters, and in the long game, the players with the most discipline are always the ones who end up with the biggest stacks of chips.
Go out there and start playing like a pro. Your future self will thank you for it. Success in the markets isn't about the big score you make today. It's about the fact that you'll still be here playing the game 5 years from now. That is the ultimate win. Every morning when the market opens, imagine you are sitting down at that green felt table. The dealers, the market, are going to try and trick you. The other players are going to try and bluff you. But you have your strategy, you have your rules, you have your calm. You aren't there to gamble, you're there to work. And when you treat trading like a profession, the market will eventually start paying you like a professional. It won't be easy. There will be days when the cards are cold and nothing seems to work. There will be downswings that test your faith. But remember, even the best poker players in the world go through weeks where they can't win a single hand. What makes them the best is that they don't change their strategy just because they're having a bad run. They trust the process. Do you trust your process? If the answer is yes, then you've already won the most important battle. The rest is just math and time. Keep your head down, stay humble, stay disciplined, and never ever let the tilt take your chips. The market is waiting. The next hand is being dealt. Are you in? Because the difference between the guy who used to trade and the guy who trades for a living is simply the ability to stay at the table. Be the person who stays, be the person who plays it right, and watch as the world of luck transforms into a world of certainty. This is the path. This is the way of the elite. It's time to stop being a trader and start being a master of the game. Let's get to work.